Hey, this is TJR, and you're about to watch a first reaction review. And what that is this is where I review an album, I listen to it, and I write down my thoughts and impressions as I'm listening to it. And that's my first reaction review. I used to do these a lot on the Old Music Worth Buying channel, and I thought I might try to start doing them here on this channel. So this is a little bit of an experiment. After this is over, let me know what you think. Thanks. Here's first reaction review. Back in 2012, I reviewed Unorthodox Jukebox by Bruno Mars. This was on the Old Music Worth Buying channel. And I did this because I thought it would be interesting to review an album by an artist who has, for the most part, puzzled me. I find myself puzzled by the fact that anytime I saw Bruno Mars performing live, I thought he was outstanding. But whenever I listened to one of his studio recordings, my reaction was mostly meh. Now, before anyone shouts at me, "What's the matter? Don't you like Uptown Funk?" I need to remind you, Uptown Funk is by Mark Ronson from his album Uptown Special. It features Bruno Mars on vocals. And Uptown Special, by the way, was one of my favorite albums of 2015. And I recommend the album to everyone that I catch listening to Uptown Funk who isn't aware that there is a whole album of great music beyond just this one song. So back when I reviewed Unorthodox Jukebox, I found it to be mostly an album of song ideas that needed more development, and that they had a lot of what I refer to as cut and paste production, wherein the arrangement for each verse is exactly the same as each verse that preceded it, with absolutely no variations in the musical arrangement. Mostly, I found it to be an album of so-so songs, with the exception of the track When I Was Your Man, which I declared as pure awesomeness. So I thought it would be interesting to listen to his first new album since Unorthodox Jukebox, entitled 24 Karat Magic, or 24K Magic, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, the album opens with the title track, which starts with this very annoying, heavily auto-tuned vocal. Bruno Mars, you have a fantastic singing voice. You don't need to auto-tune it. Thankfully, though, this auto-tuned intro ends quickly, and we are then treated to a pretty darn good 80s influenced dance number. This is a fun track, not maybe an 80s dance classic, but a fun track nonetheless. And thankfully, there is variation in the song's arrangement from verse to verse, so I do hope this trend continues as I listen. The 80s synths continue for the next track entitled Chunky. Once again, we have a very good 80s influenced dance song with a few nice synth breaks, and the female answer vocals complement Bruno Mars's call-out vocals rather nicely. I think this song could have used some horns at the ending, though. On track 3, we finally get down to business with a heavily James Brown influenced song entitled Perm. This is an awesome track, and the only thing that clues me into the fact that this is a modern track are lyrical references to Twitter and Instagram. Mr. Mars, you just did James Brown proud. You emulated without imitating. I love this track, and I am saving it to my favorites. Now, of course, what happens next is that after a song like Perm, you've got a tough act to follow. And so track 4, That's What I Like, is a bit of a letdown. It's a love song laced with too much materialism for my tastes. Track 5, Versace on the Floor, might have started okay with its vocal and piano-only opening, had it not been for the very awful, very tinty 80s electric piano patch that was used. I'm sorry, this was just too harsh for my ears. A shame because Bruno's vocals are, as always, spot on. The rest of the song continues the 80s trend, but unfortunately, it borrows from too many of what I feel are the more lackluster 80s music elements right down to the cliched 80s guitar solo that sounds like it's actually being played on keyboard. This song really should have used a natural, more real-sounding piano patch at the opening, or maybe even a real piano. Track 6, Straight Up and Down, opens with a very nice but too brief Brian Wilson-influenced vocal harmony. But then again, maybe that's the point. Maybe I should be left wanting more. What follows that is a very nice, smooth, reggae-influenced drum groove over an equally smooth mid-tempo pop tune. This song manages to marry the 80s influence that has so far mostly prevailed over this album with some modern sensibilities. This is a thoroughly enjoyable pop song. Track 7, Calling All My Lovelies, features the voice of Halle Berry as the woman whom Mr. Mars can't get to call him back. I am pretty sure that this is all in fun and not to be taken as autobiographical, but sadly it's about the only interesting thing about this song. This song just drags, and it outstays its 4-minute 10-second time frame. Even though this is a first listen reaction review, I did play it back a few times to try and put my finger on what it was about this song that just doesn't work. Even after a few run-throughs, I'm still having a hard time putting my finger on it. It feels like too many lackluster ideas thrown together. This song was harder to get through than Versace on the Floor. Now things do, thankfully, pick up on track 8, which is entitled Finesse. This song features a muscular dance groove that I found myself instantly wanting to move to. Just like Straight Up and Down, this track successfully marries the 80s vibe with a modern sensibility and makes it look easy on top of that. Finesse is an aptly titled song. Every aspect of instrumentation and production and performance moves in and out with absolute finesse. This is probably the strongest track next to Perm. The album ends with Too Good to Say Goodbye. This song feels like one of those breezy late 70s tunes that would have come from an artist like Christopher Cross. This is not a bad song, but I feel like it still needs a little bit of melodic restructuring. The chorus is pretty strong, but the verses could use a little work. Right now, the verses make me impatient to get to the chorus rather than keeping me grooving between choruses. Mr. Mars' vocals are as strong and powerful as ever, though, and they do help to carry me through those verses, though. Looking back, this is definitely a stronger album than Unorthodox Jukebox, with Perm and Finesse being the two standout tracks, and Straight Up and Down running a close third. Back when I reviewed Unorthodox Jukebox, I remember stating that I don't want to dislike anyone's music, and that I hope I liked his next album better. And I certainly did, and I'm glad that I did. But I'm still confused and puzzled by Bruno Mars as an artist. Every time I see him live, he's the bomb. He kills it. I'm still puzzled as to why I don't react the same way to his studio recordings. This is TJR, and this is my first reaction review of 24K Magic by Bruno Mars. So did you hear this album? What did you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Is there anything I missed that you feel I should have pointed out? Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and once again, just seeing how this works. Let me know what you think of this concept. First reaction review. Thanks for watching. Bye.